right, everybody, how are you doing? I hope you are well. We are continuing on in our books of Adam and Eve, and we have made it to chapter 45. If you guys have read with me to this point, and if you haven't read with me to this point, I would encourage that if you wanted to hear the rest of this, that you can look back maybe 3 weeks ago on this channel, and I will definitely put it in a playlist at some point, or I think there is a playlist. And we are simply looking over more of the extracurricular text that has been removed and hidden from us. And before we go too far into this, I do want to add my opinion to this, that I believe it has been what they call, Christianized, to where they have gotten a hold of it, because there's certain words and certain things in these stories that there's no such thing. Like they talk about Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or something of the sort, and there's no such days in the Bible. Our Creator has never ever assigned names to anything. We're first day, second day, third day. Today we're on the seventh day, which is Shabbat. So that is how you can kind of tell what has been messed around. The bottom line of these readings, from what I can see, is that Adam and Eve, their entire goal is trying to get back to a garden, a sinless place that they had prior to their fall. And this is where we should all understand that our forefathers and mothers, they fell because they disobeyed the commandments of Yahuwah. And it's not even commandments, it's commandment. So it only takes one commandment that we break, that we are out of covenant with our Creator. And so this is where we want to study this. We want to show ourselves approved unto our Creator, a workman who needeth not to be ashamed, because we are rightly dividing the word of truth. Okay, we're chapter 46, and I have a little Roman numeral cheat chart, because this is, I'm not used to living in Roman numerals, and as we run through this, I'm going to try to do 5 to 10 chapters on this reading. So I hope my reading is well. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you can sit back and enjoy. And if you have not heard the rest of this Adam and Eve segment that we've been doing, you can go back about 3 weeks. I think there's a playlist on this channel as well. And hopefully you enjoy it. Then Adam and Eve began again to come into the cave. And when they came to the passage, in the midst of the fire, Satan blew into the fire like a whirlwind and caused the burning coal fire to cover Adam and Eve, so their bodies were singed with, and the coal fire burned their skin. Now, if you guys don't remember where we are at, for those who have not, which this is going to be weird picking this up, but Adam and Eve basically came back to their cave, and there was a fire going, and Adam had been tricked so many times by Satan that he really doesn't know what's right and what's wrong. He knows what Yah has told him is right, but Satan is such a crafty critter that he's always up to no good. And so there's a fire burning in front of it, and let's continue on. Adam and Eve screamed from the burning of the fire and said, "Oh, Lord, save us." And this Lord is, again, that's an incorrect translation. It would be like, "Oh, Elohim," or something. Lord like that actually means Baal, like the evil Baal. That's the wrong translation. So just want to make sure everyone knows this. "Do not leave us to be consumed and plagued by this burning fire. Do not require us as the payment for having transgressed your commandment." Then Yahuwah looked at their bodies, on which Satan had caused fire to burn. Yahuwah sent his angel and held back the burning fire, but the wounds remained on their bodies. Then Yahuwah said to Adam, "See Satan's love for you. He pretended to give you the Godhead and greatness, and now, look, he burns you with fire and seeks to destroy you from off the earth. Then look at me, Adam. I created you, and how many times have I delivered you out of his hand? If not, wouldn't he have destroyed you?" Yahuwah spoke again, this time to Eve, and said, "He promised you in the garden, saying, 'As soon as you eat from the tree, your eyes will be open, and you shall become like gods, knowing good and evil. But look, he has burned your bodies with fire and has made you taste the taste of fire in exchange for the taste of the garden. He has made you see the burning fire and the evil of it, and the power it has over you. Your eyes have seen the good he has taken from you, and in truth he has opened your eyes. You have seen the garden in which you were with me, and you have also seen the evil that has come over you from Satan. But as to the Godhead, he cannot give it to you, nor fulfill his promise to you. He was bitter against you and your descendants that will come after you. And Yahuwah withdrew his word from them. Now, this word Godhead right here, this is one of these Christian words where they have completely taken the deity of our Creator and has made a Creator, a Son, and a Holy Spirit all in the same entity. And he says, there shall be no other gods before me. So when they say Godhead, this is definitely not what he was saying. He was basically saying be like gods. He's not saying be like the Trinity, which is, again, a satanic thing. All right, 46. Then Adam and Eve came into the cave, still trembling because of the fire that had scorched them. So Adam said to Eve, look, in this world the fire burns our flesh. How will it be when we are dead and Satan shall punish our souls? Is not our deliverance far off unless Yahuwah comes in his mercy and fulfills his promise to us? Then Adam and Eve stepped into the cave, blessing themselves for coming into it once more. For they thought that they would never enter it when they saw the fire around it. But as the sun was setting, the fire was still burning and coming closer to Adam and Eve in the cave, so that they could not sleep in it. After the sunset, they went out of the cave. This was the 47th day after they came out of the garden. Adam and Eve then came under the top of the hill by the garden to sleep, as they were accustomed. And they stood and prayed Yahuwah to forgive them their sins, and then fell asleep under the top of the mountain. But Hasatan, the hater of all that is good, thought to himself, Yahuwah has promised salvation to Adam by covenant, and promised that he would deliver him from all the hardships that have befallen him. But Yahuwah has not promised me by covenant, and will not deliver me out of my hardships. He has promised Adam that he should make him and his descendants live in the kingdom that I once lived in. I will kill Adam. The earth shall not be rid of him. The earth shall be rid of him. The earth shall be left to me alone. When he is dead, he will not have any descendants left to inherit the kingdom, and it will remain my own realm. Yahuwah will be then wanting me, and he will restore it to me and my host. After this, Hasatan called to his hosts, all of them which came to him, and said to him, Our Lord, what will you do? Then he said to them, This Adam, who Yahuwah created out of the dust, is the one who has taken our kingdom from us. Come, let us gather together and kill him. Hurl a rock at him and Eve, and crush them under it. When Satan's hosts heard these words, they came to the part of the mountain where Adam and Eve were asleep. Then Satan and his host took a huge rock, broad and smooth and without blemish. He thought to himself, if there should be a hole in the rock when it fell on them, the hole in the rock might align over them so that they would escape and not die. He then said to his hosts, Take up the stone and drop it flat on them so that it doesn't roll off them to somewhere else. And when you have hurled it at them, get away from there quickly. And they did as he told them. But as the rock fell down from the mountain toward Adam and Eve, Yahuwah commanded the rock to become a covering over them so that it did them no harm. And so it was by Yah's order. But when the rock fell, the whole earth quaked because of it and was shaken from the size of the rock. And it quaked and shook. Adam and Eve awoke from sleep and found themselves under a covering of rock. But they didn't know what had happened, because when they fell asleep, they were under the sky and not under a covering. And when they saw it, they were afraid. Then Adam said to Eve, How has the mountain bent itself and the earth quaked and shaken on our account? And why has this rock spread itself over us like a tent? Does God intend to plague us and to shut us up in this prison? Or will he close the earth over us? He is angry with us for our having come out of the cave without his permission, and for our having done so of our own accord without asking him when we left the cave and came to this place. Then Eve said, Adam, if indeed the earth shook for our sake and this rock formed a tent over us because of our transgression, we will be sorry, because our punishment will be long. But get up and pray to Yahuwah to let us know concerning this, and what this rock is this. And what this rock is that is spread over us like a tent. Then Adam stood up and prayed before Yahuwah to let him know what had brought about this difficult time. And Adam stood praying like that until morning. Then the word of Yahuwah came and said, "O Adam, who counseled you when you came out of the cave to come to this place?" And Adam said to Yahuwah, "Elohim, we came to this place because of the heat of the fire that came over us inside the cave." Then the Elohim, Yahuwah, said to Adam, "Adam, you dread the heat of fire for one night, but how will it be when you live in hell? But Adam, do not be afraid and do not believe that I have placed this covering of rock over you to plague you. It came from Satan, who had promised you the Godhead and majesty. If he who threw down this rock and to kill you under it, and Eve with you, and in this way to prevent you from living on the earth. But as that rock was falling down on you, I was merciful. I commanded it to form a tent over you, and the rock under you to lower itself. And this sign, O Adam, will happen to me at my coming on earth. Satan will raise the people of the Jews." Again, they wouldn't say Jews. "People will raise the people of the Jews to put me to death, and they will lay me in a rock and seal a large stone over me. And I shall remain there within that rock 3 days and 3 nights. But on the third day I shall rise again, and it shall be salvation to you, O Adam, and to your descendants, so that you will believe in me." And again, this is completely where Christianism has corrupted this completely, because I do not believe that Yahuwah said this like this. I believe that he said his son. Yahuwah was not put on a stake and killed. They did not kill our creator. They did not stick him in Satan was not powerful enough to stick him in a cave with a rock over him or any of this, right? This was the son of Yahuwah, and that's our salvation, Yahushua. But Adam, I will not bring you from under this rock until 3 days and 3 nights have passed. And Yahuwah withdrew his word from Adam. But Adam and Eve lived under the rock 3 days and 3 nights, as Yahuwah had told them. And God did so to them because they had left their cave, and because they, sorry, I'm having to discipline the dogs. Where I'm at. Because they had left their cave and had come to the same place without Yahuwah's permission. But after 3 days and 3 nights, Yahuwah created an opening in the cover of the rock and allowed them to get out from under it. Their flesh was dried up, and their eyes and hearts were troubled from crying and sorrow. So, let's go over the author's notes on this. Some translations have the rock forming a dome, but the text gives no shape. If one reads the text closely, it becomes obvious that the shape of the falling rock may not be as important as the fact that the ground Adam and Eve were sleeping on was made to form a depression between the tent or dome shaped in the depression of the ground. This formed a cave shape, which mimicked the cave in which Yahushua, see it says right there, Yahushua would be buried. It is less obvious but implied that Adam and Eve had some amount of light inside the cave. The text gives no explanation whether there were gaps, cracks, or holes for air and light. Chapter L, which I believe is 50. Then Adam and Eve went out and came into the cave of treasures and stood praying in it the entire day until the evening. And this took place at the end of the 50 days after they had left the garden. But Adam and Eve rose again and prayed to Yahuwah in the cave the whole of that night and begged for mercy from him. And when the day dawned, Adam said to Eve, "Come, let us go and do some work for our bodies." So they went out of the cave and came to the northern border of the garden, and they looked for something to cover their bodies with. But they found nothing, and they did not know how to do the work. But their bodies were stained, and they could not speak from cold and heat. Then Adam stood and asked Yahuwah to show him something with which to cover their bodies. Then came the word of Yahuwah and said to him, "O Adam, take Eve and come to the seashore where you fasted before. There you will find skins of sheep that were left after lions ate the carcasses. Take them and make garments for yourselves and clothe yourselves with them." Okay, let's read the author's note and then I'll discuss this. There is no direct explanation as to how Adam and Eve became naked again. One possibility is found in chapter, what is that, XLVI, hold on. I do have an answer for this. XLVI, XL46, thanks Eli. XLVI, right there. All right, so that explanation is in 46, where Satan blew into the fire and singed Adam and Eve. It is possible the garments that Yahuwah had given them in Genesis 3:21 were burned away at this point, leaving Adam and Eve naked once more. That actually goes against, I believe, is it Jasher or Jubilees, where it talks about how Nimrod ended up with the actual clothes. Somehow Nimrod ended up with the clothes of Adam and Eve from the very first thing. He stole them from, I think it was from Noah, but Noah had given them to...
He wanted to give them to
Shem, and somehow they had been stolen. So I don't know exactly what happened here or how they were naked or ended up being naked, but we'll continue on. When Adam heard these words from Yahuwah, he took Eve and went from the northern side of the garden to the south of it, by the river of water where they once fasted. But as they were on their way, and before they arrived, Satan the wicked one had heard the word of Yahuwah communing with Adam respecting his covering. It distressed him, and he hurried to the place where the sheepskins were, with the intention of taking them and throwing them into the sea, or of burning them so that Adam and Eve would not find them. But as he was about to take them, the word of Yahuwah came from heaven and bound him by the side of those skins until Adam and Eve came near him. But as they got closer to him, they were afraid of him and of his hideous appearance. Then the word of Yahuwah came to Adam and Eve and said to them, "This is he who was hidden in the serpent, who deceived you, and stripped from you your garment of light and glory. This is he who promised you majesty and divinity. Where is the beauty that was on him? Where is his divinity? Where is his light? Where is the glory that rested on him? Now his form is hideous. He has become abominable, offensive among angels, and he has come to be called Satan. Adam, he wished to steal from you this earthly garment of sheepskin so that he could destroy it, not let you be covered with it. What is his beauty that you should have followed him? And what have you gained by obeying him? See his evil works, and then look at me, your creator. Look at the good deeds I do for you. I bound him until you came and saw him and his weakness, and that no power is left with him. And Yahuwah released him from his bonds." And this is interesting, folks. This is stuff we don't see in the scriptures of old. What is the power of Ha-Satan, that he is able to roam around and change his appearance, that he's able to chuck giant rocks at us, that he's just a hideous looking thing that has deceived the entire world and still does. It's somebody who can transform himself into an angel of light. How many times have people been influenced by something that is completely demonic because they don't understand that everything that we see could not possibly be exactly as we see it? Very interesting. All right, chapter LII, and I don't know what that is. That is 52. We're in the 50s. After this, Adam and Eve said no more, but cried before Yahuwah because of their creation and their bodies that required an earthly covering. Then Adam said to Eve, "Eve, this is the skin of the beast with which we shall be covered. But when we put it on, we shall be wearing a sign of death on our bodies. Just as the owners of these skins have died and have decomposed, so also shall we die and pass away." Then Adam and Eve took the skins and went back to the cave of treasures. When they were in it, they stood and prayed, as was their habit. And they thought how they could make garments of those skins because they had no skill. Then Yahuwah sent to them his angels to show them how to accomplish this. And the angel said to Adam, "Go out and bring some palm thorns." And Adam went out and brought some, and as the angel had commanded him. Then the angel began before him to work the skins after the manner of one who prepares a shirt. And he took the thorns and stuck them into the skins before their eyes. Then the angel again stood up and prayed Yahuwah that the thorns in those skins should be hidden, so as to be as if they were sewn with one thread. And so it was by Yahuwah's order, and they became garments for Adam and Eve, and he clothed them with the skins. From that time, the nakedness of their bodies was covered from the sight of each other's eyes, and this happened at the end of the 51st day. Then when Adam and Eve's bodies were covered, they stood and prayed and sought mercy of the Lord and forgiveness, and gave him thanks because he had mercy on them and had covered their nakedness. And they did not stop praying the entirety of that night. Then, when the morning dawned at sunrise, they said their prayers, as was their custom, and then went out of the cave. And Adam said to Eve, "Since we don't know what there is to the west of the cave, let us go out and see it today." Then they departed and went toward the western border. And I think an interesting discussion point to have here is that as human as they are right now, they are not human, right? Because they've been out 50 some days. We don't know that they've drank any water. I don't believe they drank any water. They definitely have not eaten to this point. And so they're probably not looking real well. But once they start doing what humans do is when they become as humans have become, which is interesting. Okay. They were not very far from the cave when Satan came toward them. He hid himself between them and the cave in the form of two ravenous lions that had been 3 days without food. Okay, here we go again, and we notice that the power of Ha-Satan is that he looks like he made himself look like a lion. He can. I mean, what power are we up against that this entity can do things of this nature? And they came toward Adam and Eve as if to break them in pieces and devour them. Then Adam and Eve cried out and begged Yahuwah to deliver them from their paws. Then the word of Yahuwah came to them and drove away the lions from them. And Yahuwah said to Adam, Adam, what do you seek on the western border? And why have you left your own will, the eastern border, which was your living place? Now turn back to your cave and remain in it, so that Satan won't deceive you or achieve his goal to overtake you. In this western border, Adam, there will go from you a descendant that shall replenish it, and they will defile themselves with their sins, and with their yielding to the commands of Satan, and by following his works. Therefore will I bring waters of a flood to cover them and overwhelm them all. But I will deliver what is left of the righteous among them, and I will bring them to a distant land. But the land in which you live now shall remain desolate, and without one inhabitant in it. After Yahuwah had spoken to them, they went back to the cave of treasures, but their flesh was dried up, and they were weak from fasting and praying, and from the sorrow they felt at having sinned against Yahuwah. If only we had this same sorrow, right? If only we lived today with the same sorrow they had of breaking that single commandment. Then Adam and Eve stood up in the cave and prayed the entire night until the morning dawned. And when the sun came up, they both went out of the cave. Their minds were wandering from the heaviness of sorrow, and they didn't know where they were going. And they walked in that condition to the southern border of the garden. And they began to go up that border until they came to the eastern border, which was land's end. And the cherub who guarded the garden was standing at the western gate to guard them. Adam and Eve started to guard it from Adam and Eve in case they should attempt to suddenly come into the garden. When Adam and Eve thought the cherub was not watching, they came to the eastern border of the garden. But as they were standing by the gate, as if they desired to go in, the cherub turned around as if to put them to death, according to the order of Yahuwah had given to him. And the cherub suddenly came with a flashing sword of fire in his hand. When he saw them, he went toward them to kill them, for he was afraid that Yahuwah would destroy him if they went into the garden without Yahuwah's order. And the sword of the cherub seemed to shoot flames a distance away from it. But when he raised it over Adam and Eve, the flame of the sword did not flash out at them. Because of this, the cherub thought that Yahuwah was approving to them and was bringing them back into the garden. And the cherub stood wondering. He could not go up to heaven to ascertain Yahuwah's orders regarding Adam and Eve's entering the garden, so continued to stand by them, unable to leave them, because he was afraid that if they should enter the garden without permission, Yahuwah would destroy him. Guys, this is very, very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting that even a cherub, a special one of Yahuwah, is unable to get direct communication to him. Right? He was as confused as Adam and Eve are confused about what they're trying to do. What are they trying to do? They don't know. They're longing for the world they used to have. They're longing for that garden, and this is what they're doing. So this cherub came over, and he didn't know what to do. And as he's raising up the sword to kill them, the fire in his sword went out. And he didn't know what to do. He's even more confused. And he was worried. He's like, I don't want to be destroyed. Even the cherubs understand the creation, and they don't want to be destroyed. This is amazing. Verse 8 right here. When Adam and Eve saw the cherub coming towards them with a flaming sword of fire in his hand, they fell on their faces from fear, were as dead. Then the heavens and the earth shook, and another cherubim came down from heaven to the cherub who guarded the garden, and saw him amazed and silent. Then again, other angels came down close to the place where Adam and Eve were, and the cherubs were split between joy and sorrow. They were joyous because they thought that Yahuwah was approving to Adam and wished him to return to the garden and wished to return him to the gladness he once enjoyed. But they were sorrowful over Adam because he was fallen like a dead man, he and Eve. And they said to themselves, Adam has not died in this place, but Yahuwah has put him to death for coming to this place and wishing to enter the garden without his permission. So I haven't kept count, but this is many times these two individuals are dead, right? When they, can you imagine the fear and terror of seeing this giant flaming sworded cherub come at them, right? And these are probably things with 6 wings. They probably have, wings to cover their feet and wings to fly and the wings to cover, upper wings. They've been described. So this is scary. This is very scary stuff. They didn't know what to do. Even the angels that came down, they were intervening, but they were still confused. Then the word of Yahuwah came to Adam and Eve and raised them up from their dead state, saying to them, "Why did you come up here? Do you intend to go into the garden from which I brought you out? You cannot return today, but only when the covenant I have made with you is fulfilled." Then Adam, when he heard the word of Yahuwah and the fluttering of the angels, which he only heard and did not see, he and Eve cried and said to the angels, "Oh, spirits who wait on Yahuwah, look at me and at my inability to see you. When I was in my former bright nature, I could see you. I sang praises as you do, and my heart was far above you. But now that I have transgressed, that bright nature is gone from me, and I have come to this miserable state in which I cannot see you. You do not serve me like you used to do, for my flesh has become like that of the animals. Oh, angels of Yahuwah, ask Yahuwah to restore me to the state I was in formerly, and ask him to rescue me from this misery and to remove the sentence of death he passed on me for having trespassed against him. Ask him as I ask him to do these things." Then when the angels heard these things, they all grieved over him and cursed Satan, who had misled Adam, until he came from the garden to misery, and from life to death, and from peace to distress, and from gladness to a strange land. Then the angel said to Adam, "You obeyed Satan and ignored the word of Yahuwah, who created you. You believed that Satan would fulfill all he had promised you. But now, Adam, we will make known to you what came over us through him. Before his fall from heaven, he gathered together his hosts and deceived them, promising to give them a great kingdom, a divine nature, and other promises he made them." Excuse me. His hosts believed that his word was true, so they followed him and renounced the glory of Yahuwah. He then ordered us, and some obeyed and under his command and accepted his empty promises. But we would not obey, and we did not take his orders. Then, after he fought with Yahuwah and had dealt disrespectfully with him, he gathered together his hosts and made war with us. And if it had not been for Yahuwah's strength that was with us, we could have not prevailed against him to hurl him from heaven. This is amazing. This is amazing stuff that we see when we did not know. We did not know that Hasatan is stronger than all these other angels together. That whatever creation Yahuwah has created, with Hasatan, it is mighty and it is powerful, and he is far more wicked than everyone else. So they were just, everybody's like, oh, we're doomed. Hasatan was taking us over. And we feel like that today. But when he fell from among us, there was great joy in heaven because of his descent from us. If he had remained in heaven, nothing, not even one angel would have remained in it. But Yahuwah in his mercy drove him from among us to this dark earth, because he had become darkness itself and a performer of unrighteousness. Guys, this is how the power of Hasatan is, that these angels said that if he would have remained in the Shemaim, he would have corrupted everything in heaven. So what hope is there for us on this land, right? That's what I'm saying. Verse 15, and Adam, he has continued to make war against you until he tricked you and made you come out of the garden to a strange land where all these trials have come to you. And death, which Yahuwah brought to him, he has also brought to you because you obeyed him and sinned against Yahuwah. Then all the angels rejoiced and praised Yahuwah and asked him not to destroy Adam for having sought to enter the garden at this time, but to bear with him until the fulfillment of the promise, and to help him in this world until he was free from Satan's hand. And we are at, 51? So we are at 56. All right, so we will go to LX is where we were going to. Okay. Then the word of Yahuwah came to Adam and said to him, Adam, look at that garden of joy and at this earth of toil, and see the garden is full of angels. But look at yourself alone on this earth with Satan, whom you obeyed. If you had submitted and been obedient to me and had kept my word, you would have been with my angels in my garden. And again, if there's nothing that we take out of any of these readings, it's all that we are in the state that we are in because we will not keep the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. If we would, everything would be different. Verse 4. But when you sinned and obeyed Satan, you became his guests among his angels that are full of wickedness. And you came to this earth that produces thorns and thistles for you. Hear, hear. O Adam, ask the one who deceived you to give you the divine nature he promised you. or to make you a garden as I had made for you, or to fill you with that same bright nature with which I filled you. Ask him to make you a body like the one I made you, or to give you a day of rest as I gave you. Whoa, there's a Shabbat, right? No, Christians, what do you mean a day of rest? It's not Sunday. Or to create within you a wise, intelligent, reasonable soul as I created for you, or to take you from here to some other earth that is one which I gave you. But Adam, he will not fulfill even one of these things he told you. Acknowledge my favor toward you, my mercy on you, my creature. Acknowledge that I have not shown vengeance on you for your transgression against me, but in my pity for you I have promised you that at the end of the great 5.5 days I will come and save you. Then Yahuwah said again to Adam and Eve, get up, go down from here before the cherub with a sword of fire in his hands destroys you. But Adam's heart was comforted by Yahuwah's words to him, and he worshipped before him. And Yahuwah commanded his angels to escort Adam and Eve to the cave with joy instead of fear that had come over them. And again, something else. Yahuwah has assigned his angels to give somebody joy and not fear. That's stuff we just don't know. Then the angels took up Adam and Eve and brought them down the mountain by the garden with songs and praises and hymns until they arrived at the cave. There the angels began to comfort and to strengthen them, and then departed from them towards heaven to their Creator, who had sent them. But after the angels had departed from Adam and Eve, Satan came with shamefacedness and stood at the entrance of the cave in which were Adam and Eve. He then called out to Adam and said, "O Adam, come, let me speak to you." Then Adam came out of the cave, thinking he was one of Yahuwah's angels that had come to give him some good counsel. But when Adam came out and saw his hideous figure, he was afraid of him, and said to him, "Who are you?" Then Satan answered and said to him, "It is I who hid myself within the serpent, and who spoke to Eve, and who enticed her until she obeyed my command. I am he who, using my deceitful speech, sent her to deceive you until you both ate of the fruit of the tree and rejected the command of God." But when Adam heard these words from him, he said to him, "Can you make me a garden, as Yahuwah made for me? Or can you clothe me in the same bright nature in which Yahuwah has clothed me? Where is the divine nature you promised to give me? Where is that clever speech of yours that you had with us at first, when we were in the garden?" Then Satan said to Adam, "Do you think that when I had promised someone something that I would actually deliver it to him or fulfill my word? Of course not. I myself have no hope of, never even thought of, obtaining what I promised. Therefore I fell, and I made you fall for the same reason that I myself fell. Whoever accepts my counsel falls. But now, O Adam, because you fell, you are under my rule, and I am king over you because you have obeyed me and have sinned against your Elohim. There will be no deliverance from my hands until the day promised you by your Elohim." Again he said, "Because we do not know the day agreed on you with you by your Elohim, nor the hour in which you shall be delivered, we will multiply wars and murders on you and your descendants after you. This is our will and our good pleasure, that we may not leave one of the sons of men to inherit our place in heaven. Our home, Adam, is in burning fire, and we will not stop our evil doing even a single day, nor even a single hour. And I, O Adam, shall set you on fire when you come into the cave to live there." When Adam heard these words, he cried and mourned and said to Eve, "Did you hear what he said? He said that he would not fulfill any of what he promised you in the garden. Did he really, at that time, become king over us? We will ask Elohim, who created us, to deliver us out of his hands." Then Adam and Eve spread their hands before Yahuwah, praying and begging him to drive Satan away from them so that he could not harm them or force them to deny Yahuwah. Then suddenly, Yahuwah sent to them his angel, who drove Satan away from them. This happened about sunset on the 53rd day after they had come out of the garden. Then Adam and Eve went into the cave, and stood up and lowered their faces to the ground to pray to Yahuwah. But before they prayed, Adam said to Eve, "Look, you have seen what temptation have befallen us in this land. Come, let us get up and ask Yahuwah to forgive us of the sins we have committed, and we will not come out until the end of the day, being the 40th day. And if we die in here, he will save us." Then Adam and Eve got up and joined together in entreating Yahuwah. They continued praying like this in the cave, and did not come out of it in the night or day, until their prayers went up out of their mouths like a flame of fire. Let's go over the author's note. This little chapter has several details showing connections to the customs of punishment and also to number symbolism. Actually, I don't even care about that because I don't care about the number symbolism. I get it. I don't put a lot of stuff into it. Let's roll on. We are at the last. This is it. Yep. Okay. But Hasatan, the hater of all that is good, did not allow them to finish their prayers. He called to his hosts, and they all came. Then he said to them, since Adam and Eve, whom we deceived, have agreed together to pray to Yahuwah night and day, and to beg him to deliver them, and since they will not come out of the cave until the end of the 40th day, and since they will continue their prayers as they have both agreed to do, that he will deliver them out of our hands and restore them to their former state, let us see what we shall do to them. And his host said to him, power is yours, our Lord, to do what you command. Then Satan, great in wickedness, took his host and came into the cave on the 30th night of the 40-day period, and he beat Adam and Eve until he thought they were dead, and he left them as dead. Then the word of Yahuwah came to Adam and Eve and raised them from their suffering. And Yahuwah said to Adam, be strong, and do not be afraid of him who has just come to you. But Adam cried and said, where were you, my Elohim, that they should punish me with such blows, and that this suffering should come over me and Eve, your handmaiden? Then Yahuwah said to him, Adam, see, he is Lord and master of all you have. He who said he would give you divinity, where is this love for you, and where is the gift he promised? Did it please him just once, Adam, to come to you because you have obeyed him and have obeyed this counsel and followed his commandment and transgressed mine? Then Adam cried before the Lord and said, Elohim, because I transgressed a little, you have severely punished me in return. I ask you to deliver me out of his hands, or at least have pity on me and take my soul out of my body now in the strange land. And Yahuwah said to Adam, if only there had been this moaning and praying before you transgressed, you would have rest from the trouble in which you are now. But Elohim, Yahuwah, had patience with Adam and let him and Eve remain in the cave until they had fulfilled the 40 days. But the strength and flesh withered on Adam and Eve from fasting and praying, from hunger and thirst, because they had not tasted either food or drink since they left the garden. And their bodies functioned erratically because they had no strength left to continue in prayer from hunger until the end of the next day to the 40th. They were fallen down in the cave, yet what speech escaped from their mouths was only in praises. And with that, we will conclude this reading. I may or may not can get another one in today, but I hope this is beneficial to you guys. And if we just come up with one moral of the entire story, it would be to obey the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator so we do not fall into this madness. Much love. I'm out.